Hey, how you doing, everybody? Good afternoon. It's 12:54 p.m. Um, sorry it took a little longer than I expected to put this together, but I felt led to do this. I'm not very good at this, but hey, we got to give it a try anyway. Next time I'll just put a beautiful PowerPoint together and then we go from there. But right now, I just want to shoot from the hip and talk to you about what's been going on. But before I do that, a little bit about my background. As you can see on the photograph, been in ministry. I'm a minister of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm also a theologian. As you can tell, I got bars. Graduated from a number of universities. Of course, I have a Master of Divinity from in professional ministry from Liberty University, Liberty Baptist Theological Seminary, a Master of Religious Education from also from Liberty University, Master of Art in Theological Studies from Liberty University, has a Doctor of Divinity from the Frederick L. Ray uh, Institute of Biblical Studies, Master of Divinity in Biblical Studies specialization from Frederick L. Ray School of Biblical Studies, Bachelor's of in Manufacturing Technology slash Military Science, Virginia State University. Served in ministry over 22 years, part-time, then full-time. Had the opportunity to serve as hospital chaplain at the Southside Regional Medical Center, Petersburg, Virginia. Had the opportunity to also serve up to 18 and a half years of military service. That's not including senior ROTC, which I have done for at least 4 years prior as a contract cadet. 18 and a half years prior to becoming injured while being on jump status. I am a disabled veteran as of right now, 100% permanent, totally disabled. Um, Still can move, but just can't do stand on my feet too long. Okay. Also, you already know about my pastoral background. Church Without Walls, my ministry. It's my ministry, but I have pastor as a at Westminster's Presbyterian Church as supply pastor under the Presbyterian Church. Served as assistant pastor at the Lord's Church Baptist denomination. Matter of fact, started a ministry called the Lord's Church Baptist denomination, North Carolina, in Fayetteville, North Carolina, years ago. Uh, that ministry is no longer there. Opened a school, nonprofits. Just looking at some of my old credentials. Served as associate minister at Rising Mount Zion Baptist Church in Carlson, Virginia. Of course, worked at a number of industry. Worked at civil service at the Bureau BOP, Bureau of Prison under Department of Justice. Sir worked as a purchasing agent at the Department of Veterans Affairs Medical Center, Richmond, Virginia. I have also had the opportunity to work as an entrepreneur. I've been in network marketing. We also have our business called Fashion by Lorraine. We sell jewelry. I'm also specializing in business, helping businesses get going from business plan to policy and procedures. So I have a little bit of that. Plus, I'm author of this book. We are living in the finished work of Christ. We are living in the finished work of Christ. I tell you, I had the opportunity to be a writer as well. And my next book was um, Breaking the Chain of Bondage in the Church Tradition, because there's some tradition just not biblically based. Some actions within the organization is definitely out of context of the Word of God. So that's just a little bit about myself. I also wrote a book while I was on active duty called Hurricane Katrina and I Too. I don't have a picture of that right offhand, but that's for my time serving in New Orleans during the flooding that took place there. Very devastating. It gives you a hands-on from my experience, what happened while I was stationed in New Orleans, from time I joined the Guard, Air National Guard, to the time I was getting out, up to that point. And it really changed my life, guys. It really changed my life. So, but what I'm really here about, and you know how I love ministry, and I'm gonna tell you, God loves, you know, I have a lot of love for God, Jehovah, and Jesus Christ, the Son, and also having recognition of the Holy Spirit, which guides us. I am just a bit emotional because I'm a father of four children, four adult children, okay, and I have grandchildren. Got three for my daughter, you know, one for my son, my oldest son, Kale. Plus, I have a step granddaughter as well. Um, and I'm bothered by what I'm seeing in the media, from social media um, to right here across the country. And it seems like the country has just gone bonkers. You know, I love children. I love babies. I'm a life addict. If you you know, so to speak. I'm concerned in the direction our country has going to, and it's not just that just happened overnight. There's been a concern since '75 because even as a child, I see some things that is working in the realm of destruction that's taking hold in this country, and very few people are taking notice. I'm going to show you the one that's just right up in your face. You know, I'm going to show you a couple videos if you don't mind, and just just share some thoughts with you if you don't just want to share some thoughts with you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a bit emotional about it because like I said, I love children, I love humanity. I'm a life addict. I love um, humanity and its potential. And I'm going to show you why I'm so disturbed, okay? So if you don't mind, I'm just going to go right here. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm so deterred. Okay, right here. Pick right there. Let me blow it up. And I can't blow it up. But this is what the devil, we allow the devil to bring into our country. Oh, that's not what I want. Come on now. Is that it? Is that the best? My computer's a little bit, it's a bit slow, so let's put it back. Okay, here we go. Hopefully that's it. So
Okay, good evening.
here we go. Oh Lord, come on now. Look like we're having some technical issues. This, of course, this is Governor Kumo. Yeah, that's how you pronounce his name. Signing legislation to, as he say, protect reproductive rights. Rights of.
This evening.
There you go.
Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. Let's give a warm welcome to all the advocates who have worked so long and so hard for so many years. And let's give a round of applause to all the legislators who finally got it done. We took the vote. And we have a special guest of honor. It couldn't come together any better than it's come together today. Sarah Weddington, who argued Roe v. Wade, here today on the 46th anniversary of Roe v. Wade. Let's give Sarah a big round of applause. was just talking to some members of my staff about this, and this evening is a little bittersweet for me. Sweet because we won. And we won after a long, long, long fight. Your family members all put it into context for you. I was speaking to one of my daughters, and I said, oh, it's great. It's great the legislature's going to pass the Reproductive Health Act. She said, the Reproductive Health Act? Weren't you supposed to do that like 8 years ago? I said, well, yeah, but it got complicated. She said, hey, Dad, don't ever give me problems for a deadline again. It's a little different. But this was a long, long haul. And for the advocacy community, what you have done here, the way you stayed with it, Planned Parenthood led by Robin Chappell Golston, the National Institute of Reproductive Health and Andrea Miller, now and Sonia Osorio, NYCLU, Donna Lieberman, the ACOG, congratulations, congratulations, congratulations. To the legislators who would never give up the fight, I first applaud the legislative leader, Speaker Carl Heastie, who's doing a great job. Senate Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins, who brought a new, fresh breath. To Assembly Member Deborah Glick, who
y'all make sure y'all write those names down, okay?
I didn't get to finish saying what I was going to say about Deborah Glick. Assembly Member Deborah Glick, who has made an entire career out of being the first at the head of the crusade to fight for human equality and human rights for every human being. We have such respect for you.
Watch that
God
word
bless
now.
you.
Human
Another round of
equality.
applause for Deborah
Watch
Glick.
that word. That word, equality.
To the Senate.
Guys, I had to pause it for a second. Y'all make sure when you hear the word of the term of the process of legislation, look for that word equality, because it's very inclusive language they're using. So let's continue. I'm going to speed it up a little bit, all right? And let's see what she had to say. All right, let's press play.
Service.
Now, this woman ought to be ashamed of herself.
Oh, boy. It says, to Sarah Weddington, for your success winning the landmark 1973 Roe v. Wade decision and your lifelong commitment to equality, freedom, and individual
Is that word
rights
again?
for all. God bless you. God bless you.
God bless you. Get that word out of your tongue, man.
Yes, please.
Okay. First, I want to say...
Hold up. How can you say God bless you on a statement like that? Roe versus Wade, the author and finisher of murder to babies, to the unborn. Of course, she received her award. Of course, she gonna say a few words. And guess what, guys? Y'all gonna love her. Because the girl who went to her or seen her for help, she since repented. She since regret. And nobody got a word from her. Not one person or news media when she rebuked the decision that she had made. Nobody gave her a word on it on a television show, talk show, or news media. But here you get this one right here. She's still alive to tell the tale, but she's gonna reap what she sowed. Let's continue.
very sincere thank you. The governor's tie indicates the depth of his sincerity, and so I was so grateful when he called and asked me to come and be part of this. I do have another boot that's has glitter and all kinds of stuff on it, and it is an award to women who kick ass. Now,
yeah, right.
But this is a great award, and I'm very pleased with it. It was also fun to be in the House and the Senate. I got to see more of the senators vote, but one, you know, who had the bow tie on? I'm sorry, I don't know their names. Who was it? Oh, yeah. So there were some really great speeches and wonderful presentations. I look back in history and people have said, how did you, Governor, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to speak no more than 4 to 5 minutes. So
and guys, you can watch the whole thing in its entirety.
Because I'll quit
later
when you say
on.
quit.
Okay. Well, why not?
Okay. Well,
I'll let y'all watch
I had
the whole thing.
30 minutes there. No. Some people have said, how did you get to argue Roe versus Wade?
Yes.
And I said, well, there were a group of civilians who were very active on women's issues, and they came over to the law school where I was working one day, and they said, Sarah, we're trying to tell people about contraception. They say to us, where could we get an abortion? We've tried to research that information so we can tell them. And of course, New York was the basic answer, and we were trying to raise money for women to get to New York.
And commit murder.
And then they said, we really think we need to file a lawsuit to try to change the law so we don't have to keep going through all of this. And they said, would you think about filing a case on this? And I said, well, I really think you ought to get somebody with experience. Because at that point, I had done uncontested divorces, wills for people with no money, and one adoption for my uncle. That was it. But they said, well, how much would you charge us? And I said, oh, I'd do it for free. And they said, convenient. You are our lawyer.
How convenient.
And that's how I got to do it. I decided I wasn't sure I was going to win, so I ran for the legislature and was the first woman elected from Austin Travis County to be in the State House of Representatives.
Ran for office. She ran for office.
And I was at the Capitol on January 22nd, 1973, and the phone rang. It was the New York Times. And they said to my assistant, Ann Richards, she was my administrative assistant, they said, does Sarah have a comment today, or does Miss Weddington have a comment today about Roe versus Wade? And Ann said, should she? And the reporter said it was decided today. And Ann said, how was it decided? And they said she won it 7-2.
And she
so
rebuked
that day,
it ever
it never
since.
occurred to me that 46 years later, I would be a part of this very important thing with Liz and Deborah and so many of you trying to reinstall the momentum of Roe versus Wade and doing it very well. Governor Cuomo, I am deeply grateful to you. I went in your office, as you know, to say a few words before we came in here, and I put my speech and my purse and my copy of Roe versus Wade on your desk. I haven't seen it since. So somebody's got it, and I'll find it before I go back to Texas. But it is with a sincere gratitude that I say to New York, thank you for what you've done for women. Thanks to all of you as advocates who kept this going. Thanks to those of you who are the legislators that made it happen, and I can't wait to see the governor sign it.
You hear that, guys? She did it for you. She did it to protect women. What about the future women? The unborn women? What about their say? Huh? What about their say? The young men and women that could have been born. So, if God has the choice, Jehovah has a choice, of aborting all birth, he could easily done it. Don't need our help. But yet, we want to take life in our own hands. Isn't that wonderful, ladies and gentlemen? Sadly, but true. And yet, this woman glorifies the decision and her actions. May God have mercy on your soul. Let's continue.
Thank you.
Yeah, get off the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins.
Now, guys, you think black women were a supporter of life, right? Not all. And yet we have some. I'm black. I'm an African American descendant from Ghana. And this is what I see. I'm like, talk about mess. This is such shame. Such shame. How can you stand there on the podium and bring forth shame upon yourself? Such blasphemy. It's against God. It's against creation. It's against life for what you have done. And you're so proud of yourself. I hope you can live with yourself. I hope you can wake up in the morning and drink some coffee like I've been drinking coffee and see yourself. It's a shame. I mean, it really breaks my heart when I see people make decisions like this. And it's not just New York, it's Virginia too. But let's continue.
Well, it's just, this is an amazing day. And I'm not going to take a lot of time because there's a main event. And that's what Sarah said, to see this bill get signed. But I do want to thank Speaker Hasty. Again, this partnership is going to bear a lot of very, very good fruit.
Hold up. She said bear a lot of good fruit. Ain't gonna be no fruit. It ain't gonna be no fruit in the wound. Ain't gonna be nothing but death. This thing's gonna kill, castrate, cut off heads, put needles in the back of the heads, take a scissors and go snip, snip. A baby gonna be born out, and they're gonna take a knife and kill it. How can you be so happy on this legislation? Just don't. Hey guys, she's not my sister. I have nothing to do with this one. Or the young man that's coming behind her. What a disgrace! But yet, it's going to change some lives. It's going to kill some. But we're going to continue. Oh, I see my beautiful wife. I'm on the air right now, and we're talking. Hey, hon, how are you? But you probably can't. They can't. I'm talking to the world. You see that little light right there? Uh-huh. I'm on the air. And we're talking about this video about these laws that have been passed about abortion. Oh. Trying to wake the world up and all the saints of God to get out of their closet and stop hiding and get back to work. Like I said, how could you do this? There you go. Yeah, clap your hands, everybody. Y'all going to hell.
I want to thank Liz, and as I said before, just an incredible champion.
I need some coffee.
She's always been somebody that I know when Liz is fighting for something, it's a good thing. And Liz, thank you for carrying it for the Senate.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you. Thank you, Liz.
And the same with Deborah. Deborah, you don't mess around with Deborah. So, if there were any two people who could get it done, it's Liz and Deborah. So thank you, Deborah.
Hey, isn't it getting hot in there? Hey, Deborah, is it getting a little hot in there?
There was so much applause when, we talked about the Senate, because we know what happens with the Senate for all those years. The Senate was the place where good ideas go to die, where women's rights were muted.
Oh, Lord. What about the right of the unborn women?
When I carried this bill in 2007, I thought this was a no-brainer. As I said on the floor, I never thought that people would object to us taking women's health issues and taking them out of the homicide codes.
I don't know where you just increased
and identifying them as real women's health issues. I never thought.
Hold up. This is not a health issue. Can someone explain to me how this is a health issue? Can someone, ecclesiastically explain it to me how this could be a health issue? Huh? Explain that to me, Senator.
That people somehow felt that even in 2007 and 8 and 9, and you all could count, up to, as the governor said, when we put together the women's agenda, even then, it just was unacceptable that we would codify Roe v. Wade, something, Sarah, that I know you fought so passionately for before good reason. To be in New York in the 2000s and have people rebuff women's choice and women's voice was something that I don't think any of us could ever understand.
And here I got a copy of the 2019-2020 regular assembly. You can get it online, guys. Public information. And you know what they repealed? They repealed abortion as a crime, as a murder, homicide, first-degree homicide. So they just really reworded it, Even if the person's born alive, Section 19, the victim can mean the victim being a homicide. I can commit murder in the name of abortion and kill as many children as possible. This is ethnic cleansing because, a lot of the poor young ladies who are poor, going to go flock into this madness, and kill their unborn baby because they have a right. They have a proof. And this hidden agenda in America is this. And I'm talking to you too, saints. I hope the real saints are out there. The real agenda is to make this a national, worldwide law. Because worldwide, there's abortion all over the place. But they're going to make it a big thing. That's that European Union, the EU, the United States, the dragon that's been spoken in Revelation is coming together. So this is what's going on. Let's continue to hear what she has to say.
But today, we changed that. Today, we're reaffirming that women have a voice and women have a choice.
In the name of inclusiveness, women.
And this time...
Hold up. Y'all going to regret that. Y'all going to regret it. You're going to regret it. You're going to cry. You're going to be bleeding to death. You're going to be dying on the table. The baby going to die. You're going to kill the baby. You're going to die too as a result of that. This is no play game. Y'all playing with fire. Y'all going to get burned in the name of women. You're going to burn definitely. Krispy Kringles, hamburgers, hot dogs.
The lieutenant governor got to preside. The last time you were there, I think you weren't allowed to speak, and we weren't even allowed to talk about this issue. So congratulations for being part. Thank you, Lieutenant Governor. And then to the governor, I thank you.
I thank you.
Thank you for being a partner. Thank you for understanding that this is critical for us, and not even waiting a moment to sign this bill, because you know how important it is for your daughters.
Say, hold up.
For all of our...
Did she say how important this bill is to his daughters? Brother, your daughters have nothing to do with this bill. 2, one thing I know, your daughter could choose not to have sex so they don't have to worry about having any type of pregnancy. So what kind of father are you teaching your daughters and the daughters of America, the daughters of New York, by this piece of legislation that you were such in a hurry to sign? Shame on you. You're a poor example of the father, in my opinion. And we ought to be hooked on, tarred and feathered, and whipped. And prayed over to him. You supposed to be Catholic too. Well, I hope that cardinal and a few other pastors and fathers walk up and talk some sense to you. You really got to come to confession now. You really got to give your confession and repent. But the only way you're going to repent, son, you got to turn that law around and expunge that law. Repent and undo what you done. You have done some serious damage. You just don't know the mess you just incurred upon not on yourself, but on a generation of ladies that could have been born. How could you? Back to you, fool.
Our children and our posterity. So I appreciate you. This is one of those things I'm going to say in front of everybody because we have this relationship, but sometimes I speak real truth. The truth is, I thank you for this.
You're lying.
Please welcome Assembly Speaker Carl Hasty.
Oh my God, it's a brother, it's a black man. Hold up. I'm acting like a fool, but seriously, it really doesn't make us look good. Bruh, shame on you. You're a contributor of death. By your hand, you have murdered more millions of children. And the good Lord is going to hold you accountable. Let's continue. Hear what excuse you got.
Before we get to all of the wonderful moments on this, I do have one thing to say. It's been 3 weeks now. How much longer is Andrea going to get more applause than me?
Yeah, remember those applause, right?
I'm just kidding. Again, as I've been telling everybody, there's no one happier than me because as the majority leaders said, the partnership and the way that the Assembly and the Senate and working with the governor, the way that we've been moving, we're going to do so many great things here in the state. So Andrea, once again, congratulations. Governor Cuomo, thank you. And as I said earlier when we had our press event, and I mentioned that so many times we would meet with the advocates, so many times we'd have meetings, and I would say to the advocates, yes, we're going to pass this bill. And I'd sit there full well knowing that there was no chance that the Senate was ever going, the Republican Senate was never going to let this bill see the light of day. And I think for those of us who actually run for office, there's no bigger, I'd say, thrill than when you make the difficult or the impossible into the possible. And I think today is one of those days that I think for all of us, it reminds us of why we ran for office, why you went out there to campaign, because this is a day that we all got to stand up for women in the state of New York. So congratulations to the advocates, but most of all, and I say most of all because we had very, very difficult conferences, and it's to me, being the speaker, having time after time after time to go back and say to the women in the conference that it's not going to happen. So now I'm so happy I never have to say that again. So congratulations to everyone.
Get off the stage.
Now the governor will sign the bill.
Now remember, I'm holding a copy of this bill that they signed into law, and they definitely redefined by legislation, by this bill, which is going to be law, the word homicide. Homicide used to mean first degree, means conduct which causes the death of a person for an unborn child with which a female who has been pregnant for more than 24 weeks. under circumstances constitute murder and manslaughter in the first degree, manslaughter in the second degree, or criminally negligent homicidal abortion in the first degree, or self-abortion in the first degree. Section 7, number 13, paragraph 13. The section heading opening paragraph subdivision 1 in section 125.05 of the penal law are amended as follows. Homicide. The removal of abortion reflects offense, definition of term, definition of following definition are inapplicable to this, which is talking about abortion. The following definitions are applicable for the article. Persons who, referring to the victim of homicide, mean human being who has been born and is alive. It's amazing how they redefine it. Now, if you go straight down to section 23, paragraph 23 and 24, section number 8, goes right further back to paragraph 8. It says subdivision 2 of section 125.15 of the penal law is appealed, meaning they appeal the word unborn child, which was a female has been pregnant for more than 24 weeks under circumstance. That's gone. Number 24 has been subdivision number 3, section 9, number 3 of section 125.20 of the penal law as what? Repealed. So number 9, 24 weeks under circumstance constitute murder, manslaughter. That too alone has totally redefined abortion. But there's more. You have to read it for yourself. But you can get a copy. It's been ratified January. This date is January 9, 2019. It has the name of the assembly of those who have signed off on it, the Senate and the assembly. And you definitely want to get your copy, guys. This is also a news article on reference to this very same thing. So let's go ahead and watch him sign. And remember, guys, I am not an attorney. I've been a pastor. I'm a theologian. I know Word of God. I understand. I know what how precious life is to God, especially to our unborn children. One, two, three. F4 pin actually. Each one will get a pin.
Congratulations.
You just signed the death notice to billions of children. Can you imagine that? See there? See there, ladies and gentlemen? They're massacred by a signature. The shame. The epitome of such madness in this country. We're supposed to be so civilized, but we're acting so uncivilized. I'm going to read a few scriptures to you just to let you know how God, Jehovah God, Jesus Christ, his son, our Lord, feels about children. And I'm just going to stick with the Old Testament for right now. In Job chapter 31, verse 15, it says, did not he that made me in the womb make him? And did not one fashion us in the womb? This is how God looks at it. Psalms 139:13 says, verse 13, for thus hast possessed my reign. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 5. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou cast forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee. And I adorned thee a prophet unto the nation. See, God sanctified every child that is conceived in the womb. And guys, if it was health issues, got to be health issues where a woman is going to die, then C-section and save the baby. Save them both. I'm passionate because my daughter was born a preemie. And I almost lost her. She's 26 years old now. Don't you care about your children? Look at your children. Look at your grandchildren. Think back the time when they were born. Would you want this legislation on the death and your child is a preemie and it looks like your child may not make it and you make a decision to abort the pregnancy or the birth or abort the birth while giving resuscitation to the baby because the baby was born without breathing? What kind of mess is that? What sense does that make? That is so blasphemous. It's just beyond me. I'm very emotional about it because I know how I feel about my children and my grandchildren. And I have some beautiful grandchildren. So let's go to the next video. I want to show you. I'm going to pull this back. Now, here's a conversation. Yes, I'm on Facebook too. A conversation. Okay. A little technical issue. We're talking about Senator Jennifer Boyce. Let me try. Yep, there she is. Okay. This is a conversation from Trucking the Truth.
Backlash that's gone on. Let's play that.
And this conversation is a reference to how she defended the third trimester abortion bill in Virginia. I'm going to go ahead and blow this up. Okay, remember, right on the tail end, you got some folks behind the scene why we're so mad at Trump, that we're so hate. The Democratic Party told us to hate. They really were doing some heinous stuff behind the scenes, guys, and this is one of them. And I'm quite sure there's plenty more heinous stuff they got behind the scene going on now that they have already passed, and we don't even know what's going on because, we've been asleep. We've been lied to. We've been lied to hate a man we have no idea because he said a few words, he's off the rocker in his language. But the man gets the job done. He's governing. He's really doing a great job. And yet, it's just like I do a good job. I'm not politically correct. And he's like, he's the worst pastor on earth. He's the worst speaker on earth. Don't know nothing about me. But that's okay too. You didn't love Jesus either. But just listen to this.
This clip, the exchange between House Chairman Todd Gilbert and Delegate Kathy Tran.
Delegate Tran.
Yes, sir.
How late in a pregnancy would your bill apply if a physician was simply willing to certify that the continuation of the pregnancy would impair the mental health of the woman? How late are we talking about?
Well, so the way the suggestion that we've made in the bill is to say it's in the third trimester and at the, with the certification of the physician. So
how late in the third trimester would you be able to do that?
It's very unfortunate that our physicians, witnesses, were not able to attend today to speak specifically.
No, I'm talking about your bill. How late in the third trimester could a physician perform an abortion if he indicated it would impair the mental health of the woman?
Or physical health.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm talking about the mental health.
So, through the third trimester. Third trimester goes all the way up to 40 weeks.
Okay, but to the end of the
all
third
up to
trimester.
40 weeks.
Yep, I don't think we have a limit in the bill.
So
no limit.
Where it's obvious that a woman is about to give birth, that she has physical signs that she is about to give a birth, would that still be a point at which she could request an abortion if she was so certified? She's dilating.
Mr. Chairman, that would be a decision that the doctor, the physician, and the woman would make.
I understand that. I'm asking
point.
if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
Okay, Senator Jennifer Boyce, 33rd District, newly elected to that Democrat, rising star, by the way, in the Democratic Party in Virginia. She's going to be a future gubernatorial candidate, I believe. She's a rising star.
Wow. I didn't say that.
No, I did. I call it like it is. You're a rising star.
I'm also in Congress, so according to John.
Yeah, so.
Well, you could win if you would, get off your butt and run. So, Jennifer, that exchange Senator, what did you think of that?
Well, I think that the conversation about this bill is actually taking away the medically unnecessary restrictions on a provider's ability to perform abortions. That is the intent of the bill. In 2011, a series of restrictions were put on abortion providers that are not on any other doctor or any other medical profession in Virginia. This is the abortion is still available under Roe v. Wade, and the incidence of a third trimester abortion is one that is very, very difficult for a family to go through. They're dealing with fetal anomalies where the fetus has no chance of survival. No one would go into that easily or without really thinking through it, and it's a very painful decision for families. I've talked to folks where they're you know, the way the fetus is formed, maybe the parts of the organs are out of the body. We're talking gross anomalies here, not someone who just decided at the last second that she didn't want to carry the baby to term.
Yeah, but the bill allows for that because she says that mental health. Delegate Tran said that mental health could be a reason to terminate the child in the final days before, you know, it could be a week before. If one doctor says, yeah, you're suffering from anxiety, you can just terminate the baby.
Well,
according to her bill.
The testimony said that she said that even up to the point of dilation, that was covered under her bill. Now, whether it is or not, that's what she testified to, and that's what is on the video.
Well, that's what's in the bill.
That's why the video is so viral right now, is because even it may not be described in the bill accurately by the patron. This is the severity or the seriousness of legislation when you put it in, and this is why it has to be thought through. And I don't know if she did this or not, but having been there with hundreds of bills in committee or carrying personally myself, you have to know your bill. And when she defaulted to saying, well, I wish my physicians were here to explain the bill, and Todd Gilbert's going, look, it's your bill.
Well, no,
we're here.
I
it's
think
time
she
for you to explain it. And I don't think she explained it well. It might be accurately so.
Well, what Gilbert said is,
is
mental health, can the doctor say you're suffering mental health? Right. And she said yes, that's in her bill. So my question to you, Senator Boysko, is, as you heard this exchange, are you comfortable with this bill?
I have actually been a supporter of a woman's right to choose whether or not she's going to carry a pregnancy to term. However, we already have restrictions in place for providing that a third trimester abortion would be under very strict supervision.
Answer the question.
And I support that.
But her bill doesn't. Her bill allows for one doctor. I mean, you get one doctor to say you're suffering from anxiety, and the baby's, you're in dilation, and you just terminate the pregnancy.
I don't think there is any instance when there's ever a person who would do that. I disagree fundamentally.
Why would you need to put that in the bill?
The point is here, though, John, this is the only medical procedure where somebody can be charged with a crime. It's in the criminal code. Doctors should be able to responsibly practice medicine and make responsible decisions, and we should trust our doctors. Politicians should not be making these decisions for people, and I believe that if you have an issue where you don't believe that this is the right thing because of your religion, you have every right to do that. But a doctor should be able to execute their medical profession in a responsible way without interference from politicians. And that's where I stand on it, and that's the intention of the TRAP bill. In Texas, under Hellerstedt v.
Stop right there. You see how careful she's being when it comes to answering questions? She's being very, very careful in her answers. All right, let's continue.
Whole women's health. The Supreme Court found all of the provisions that are in this bill that Kathy Tran has carried as unconstitutional. And the point of this is saying we should be listening to what the Supreme Court said, that again, politicians should not be making medical decisions for women or for doctors. And that's where I stand on it.
Is there a complement to this bill in the state Senate?
All of the reproductive bills have already been killed for the session.
So where does this go?
Well, currently it's in the legislative process. It's over for this year. It could be brought back in the subcommittee through a variety of procedures, which probably won't happen with this bill because the prevailing side on the bill, to make the motion to do that, I don't think you have the votes to do that. Right. But to Senator Boysko's point, there was a bill, a complementary bill, I think in the Senate. I don't know which number that was, but the reality is, in a political context, it's not whether it's rare or it's covered. It's what was testified to, and the political impact of this is going to be significant in this election cycle.
That is a stunning video, and I'm not sure that was the delegate's best moment. Had the senator been there explaining her bill the way you just did here, this thing would not have gone viral. I mean, it would have been.
I still think Todd Gilbert would have gotten to the nuts and bolts of this legislation and its political impact, because it's to what Senator Boysko said. It's not whether the intent is there or allowing the pregnancy to go to the term. That's what exactly the bill does, and what she also explained here, and that's her position, and she's perfectly right in her that's her right to have that position. I'm just talking about the political impact of the bill.
Political impact. Like, I'm a Catholic, I'm pro-life, and you kind of deal with it. Roe v. Wade. I'm not for overturning Roe v. Wade. Everybody knows that. I believe that it's passed, and you just can't take that situation away. So I would not be in favor of that. But this is just a bridge too far for a lot of people. It is just a bridge too far.
Well, it's a motivator. I mean, a lot of the social conservatives have been.
It's a bridge too far.
Well, and look, I sent it around to people saying, "What do you think?" And they were outraged.
Well, Senator DeSteph walked out of the show
and said, and remember what he said?
Yes.
We fight wars over this.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. I mean, you would not be out of line by saying that it's potentially genocide, because that's really what the issue is here. It's kind of sick.
I really feel like you all are taking this for political advantage here, and women.
I'm just describing the political reality. What's going to happen? It's not about advantageous. I'm not in party politics. I'm a very nonpartisan guy, as you point out all the time.
You're a Democrat.
The point is, the political as Jennifer Boysko knows, Jennifer Boysko knows, who just came through a special election. You have to get your base out.
Yeah, where she got 75%.
You have to get voters out to the voting booth. And what motivates people to show up are issues that matter to them. This issue matters to certain segments of the population. They will show up and will have an impact.
Let me just read to you what the bill says, so that we don't completely turn this into.
I'm not trying to. I'm just saying this. My role here is to describe to the audience the political impact.
Sure. Go ahead. And I hear that, and I respect that. But I want us to hear exactly what the bill says. Okay. So in 18.2-75, when abortion or termination of pregnancy lawful after second semester of pregnancy, after second trimester. And this is going to take me a couple seconds, so just give me a second, okay?
You got the floor.
Okay. Notwithstanding any of the provisions of 18.2-71, in addition to the provisions of 18.2-72 and 18.2-73, it shall be lawful for any physician licensed by the Board of Medicine to practice medicine and surgery to terminate or attempt to terminate a human pregnancy or aid in the assist of a termination by performing an abortion for a woman on a stage of pregnancy subsequent to the second trimester, provided that the following conditions are met. Said operation is performed in a hospital licensed by the Virginia State Department of Health.
Right, that's right there.
Or operated by the Department of Behavioral Health Developmental Services. 2, the physician certifies and so enters in the hospital record of the woman in that the physician's.
Let me stop right there. She referring to 18.2-71 and section 18.2-72 through 18.2-76 of the Code of Virginia are repealed. So if you go to 18.2-71, 18.2-72, 18 through 18.2-76, go to the Virginia Code, and you'll notice they're requesting to be repealed. Repealed means to be removed. Okay, 18.2, 71, 72, and through 76, Virginia Code. Okay, that's Virginia Code. That's what she's referring to.
Medical opinion based upon the physician's best clinical judgment and continuation of the pregnancy is likely to result in the death of a woman or impair the mental or physical health of the woman. Measures for life support for the product of abortion shall be available and utilized if there is clearly visible evidence of viability.
Now, hold up. Now, notwithstanding provision 18.271, 54.1-2400.013, it took in the word physician and really emphasizes healthcare providers. If y'all listen very carefully, you guys, if you listen very carefully on these provisions for this bill, they drew a line on all of it. A physician shall not, no, it's going to say a healthcare provider, healthcare provider, healthcare provider. It's going to say provide. It's going to say provider. It's going to use those words to as a point to generalization. Like I said, they changed it to an inclusive language, not singling just physician, but the healthcare provider. Healthcare providers are a physician. Healthcare providers are hospitals, clinics. Healthcare providers could be your group, your nursing homes. So that's what they're talking about. Healthcare providers in general. But if you get a copy of this, guys, you'll see a lot of lines drawn on here that's been amended, that's been changed. I mean, amend means change. Repeal means to take out. So they're going to repeal a lot of stuff in this bill that's already in the law. They're going to repeal it. Okay? So guys, be careful. Be careful. We got to be careful who we voting for, who we put in their office, who we like. It's time to get the Democrats out of office altogether, because their movement is very radical. I mean, they're going as far as extermination of babies. That's human extermination. That's my belief. My belief is also, since there's so many young girls, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old, and there's so many professional women who don't want babies, there's going to be an all-out rush for abortion, manslaughter, right at the term, 9-month term. The law does not limit how many weeks a child can be murdered. I'm serious about that. I have a 6-7 months old granddaughter who I love very much. I would be messed up to look at my granddaughter, go back in time, and my daughter do the abortion on her. All my other grandchildren.
Let me just
Hold on a second, if I can, because I'm trying to follow you.
Sure.
What section of the bill are you
This
referring to?
is starting on line 68. So
but that's existing. That's existing
no,
law.
Yeah.
That's
underlying code.
This is all that is being changed.
That's changing.
Yes, it is.
They changed it. They drew a line on it.
It's
existing law, but they changed it.
Consulting physicians certify.
Right.
And
they changed the law. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. They changing the laws. They're changing. They're penciling in, lining out, and this an existing law. They're changing the language, guys. They're changing the language. Be warned. Be warned, guys. The devil's on the move that possess these individuals to do what they do. Guys, you got to first of all, you got to get a relationship with God. You got to get yourself right. You got to study your Bible, and I mean study, not just fiddle around and just breeze over it. You got to go to a study institution that really teaches. I mean, if you ain't going to get it at your church, go somewhere to get it. But I'm going to tell you something. They changing the laws. Guys, you got to be careful. Busted.
That's all
Fuck
that's being
yeah.
changed.
Debate here going on between
This
Simon
is
and
remaining
Boy Scout.
law. This is already current
So
law.
what is their bill?
And so the only thing it's changing is removing the provision that says you have to have 2 doctors to 1 doctor. I know this bill very well, though,
It should be
Chris.
2 doctors.
I understand, but having
This is
one
all
doctor
that's
can be your
changed.
brother-in-law.
All
So
it's
what-
changing is
well, what
from
you
2
read was
doctors to
current
1.
existing law.
And that's
So
going
why
to
would you do
continue to
that?
be the law.
Why would you?
Oh, Lord, I ain't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, this thing is really, let me shrink it down. I mean, it's existing law. I'm getting so emotional on it. That's not right. Let's see. Here it is. Okay. You can change it back to where it was. But I mean, the guy's arguing this is existing law that they're fooling around with. It's existing law.
Be the law.
Why would you not have 2 doctors? I mean, this is like insane.
Because that's
Why did you need that bill? I mean, if you're already allowing a 3rd trimester abortion, but you want 2 doctors, I mean, 2 people have to sign a document.
That's all that's being
because in
changed,
that bill
John.
in that bill right now, it says also mental health.
Right,
mental
it's already
illness.
there. So we're not making massive changes.
Well, yeah,
and that's what is being
There's no double check. It's just 1 doctor.
But John, let's
Who's
just
the doctor?
The doctor is the person who
The
is
guy in Philadelphia?
No,
What
it's
was
the
his name?
person who is
Gosnell?
certified,
How
licensed
about
by
if the doctor was Gosnell?
licensed by the Virginia Department of Health, or operated by the Department of Behavioral Health.
Behavioral health. That could be a psychiatrist.
Certified by the Board of Medicine here in Virginia. So we're not changing massive things in the code, and everybody needs to understand that.
It could be a psychologist.
Right, but this...
Hey, guys, it could be a psychiatrist or a psychologist, for crying out loud, who has a PhD, and they're going to make medical decisions. You're only going to need 1 quacker to make a decision on a life-changing, that determine life or death? Come on now. And some of these abortions not all that good anyway, because some people die for that stuff. But I'm oh boy. Y'all see the mess that's going on in this country? You see the blasphemy of the revelation being fulfilled?
This part where we're talking about 2nd trimester or beyond, that's what I wanted to clarify, that this isn't a major shift from what we already have in
Then
the
why
code.
mess with it then?
And it's being misinterpreted and misrepresented
Why
as though
mess
this is
with
something
it?
sweeping and new,
Senator,
and it's not.
why mess
Let's
with
get,
it?
Okay?
So
I
the
want to
current,
take a
I mean,
call.
to
I
back
want
it
to
up.
take a call. Let's get to
Guys,
Chris
I'm going to stop
Chesterfield,
right there.
And then, Jennifer, I want you to tell us about the death.
I'm going to stop right there. Okay? We're going to go to the next one. Now, I want y'all to see this video of this young senator. Let's see. I tell you, you got to be prepared. We got to be prepared. There it is.
This bill would remove the following statutes: trap or targeted regulations of abortion providers, removing language classifying facilities that perform 5 or more 1st trimester abortions per month as hospitals. It would repeal Virginia's informed consent mandatory ultrasound and 24-hour delay. It would repeal the requirement that 2nd trimester abortions be performed in a hospital licensed by the State Department of Health. It would repeal the requirement for 2 additional physicians in cases of 3rd trimester abortions.
Delegate Tran.
Yes, sir.
How late in a pregnancy would your bill apply if a physician was simply willing to certify that the continuation of the pregnancy would impair the mental health of the woman? How late are we talking about?
Well, so the way the suggestion that we've made in the bill is to say it's in the 3rd trimester and at the, with the certification of the physician. So
how late in the 3rd trimester would you be able to do that?
It's very unfortunate that our physicians, witnesses, were not able to attend today to speak specifically.
No, I'm talking about your bill. How late in the 3rd trimester could a physician perform an abortion if he indicated it would impair the mental health of the woman?
Or physical health.
Okay.
What?
Okay.
I'm talking about the mental health.
So, through the 3rd trimester. The 3rd trimester goes all the way up to 40 weeks.
40 weeks?
But to the end of the 3rd trimester.
Yep, I don't think we have a limit in the bill.
No limit.
So, where it's obvious that a woman is about to give birth. She has physical signs that she is about to give a birth. Would that still be a point at which she could request an abortion if she was so certified? She's dilating.
Mr. Chairman, that would be a decision that the doctor, the physician, and the woman would make.
I understand that. I'm asking
point.
if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
I certainly could have said a week from her due date, and that would have been the same answer, correct?
That it's allowed in the bill, yes.
Yes. And in addition to what you just represented, you do acknowledge that you substantially changed the standard by removing a couple of words here, correct?
From 2 to 1.
Substantially and irremediably. I'm sorry, line 80. Line 80.
I'm sorry. Can you just tell me? I think I'm in the right part that you're looking at as well.
Line 80.
Line 80. You are changing the standard under which the judgment call is made.
I'm aware.
Okay, third trimester.
For an abortion at any point in the third trimester. You're changing the standard.
I'm changing the standard, yes.
Okay, all right. What type of mental health conditions would you anticipate would be utilized by physicians under these circumstances to determine that a child that is otherwise viable is worthy of an abortion?
I mean, again, I'm not a physician, so I can't make those calls as to when a physician would determine that a woman's mental health where they would be able to certify an abortion at that point.
But the physician wouldn't have to have any specialized training in mental health to make that determination under your bill, right?
Under this bill, no.
Okay. All right, thank you. Delegate Tran, what are some of the conditions that a woman could be experiencing in a third trimester, late-term pregnancy for which abortion and not delivery would be the optimal result to protect either her life or health or that of the child, if that's even an interest? But what would be is there any commonly accepted medical decision to terminate the pregnancy in the late term rather than deliver the child if the mother's health or life is actually in danger?
Mr. Chairman, I am aware that there are certain medical conditions where that might be an option for the mother, and I would actually turn over to Galina from NARAL to see if she has those specific medical examples.
Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Sorry, I'm really short.
That's okay. I don't have a lot of specific examples because I'm not a physician. I'm an attorney. So, and we unfortunately do not have the physicians could not be here today because they are seeing patients at the moment. I know that there are certain central nervous system anomalies that cannot be determined until later stages in the pregnancy. I also know that certain anomalies like the absence of certain organs.
Okay, so you're talking about the child. Let me just leave that out of the equation then.
Sure.
In terms of the health or life of the mother, what conditions are there that can't be resolved by delivering the child rather than undergoing an abortion?
Again, I am not a physician. What I can point to a case that happened in Ireland. That's the first one that comes to my mind. That I'm happy to find for you and send you the article.
In other words,
I can definitely send you that article. And
in other words, you don't know. In other words, you have no clue of what you're talking about. See what I'm talking about? You get people who are not qualified to represent you, who shouldn't even be up there. Call somebody up front who don't have a clue, not even prepared. Don't even have a physician. And you're going to talk about passing a bill that can affect people's anatomy. I'm not a physician, but I took anatomy in college and know enough where, one, you better know what you're talking about when it comes to the body, to the anatomy. But, this don't make no sense. You guys not even prepared, for crying out loud. let's continue to watch this fiasco.
If you'll give me some time, I can ask our physicians to provide you with a list of maladies that can lead to a woman having to have an abortion at the late stage of pregnancy. I do know that those cases exist.
But you don't know what they are.
Like I said, not.
You don't know what they are. Like I said, I'm not a physician. Then get off the podium.
A physician, I do not
here.
have those specifics about the woman. I have some specifics about the fetus. I do not have the specifics about the woman.
All right.
Great help. Thank you.
And again, since you yielded, you don't have any. I'm talking to you now,
Yes.
Delegate. You don't have any specifics on that, obviously.
No, I don't. I'm
Okay.
not a physician either.
Okay. Well, we're talking about a lot of physician stuff here, and nobody appears to know the answer, and the doctors aren't
Bingo!
here. So, it would have been helpful maybe to have those questions answered.
All right, guys. Let's try another video. Let's see. I'm going to close this one out. That was hilarious, guys. That was really hilarious. I mean, the young lady has no clue of what she's talking about. Quite sure she's a great attorney. And like I said, I'm not an attorney, but at least she could have been a little bit more prepared. It's like you're giving a briefing to a 4-star, 2-star general, a full-bird colonel, or likewise. You got to be prepared, guys. You can't just go up there talk on a subject. Here's another one right here. You'll enjoy it. Virginia lawmaker takes bill affecting abortion rights.
So Democrats are once again trying to eliminate Virginia's controversial ultrasound law. Virginia received national attention and dozens of protesters were arrested when the bill was passed in 2012 and signed by then Governor Bob McDonnell.
Democrat.
So if you're not familiar with the law, let's update you. Virginia requires women seeking an abortion to receive an ultrasound prior to the procedure. Pro-life groups and lawmakers say the intent is to give a woman all the information available before making a life-altering decision. But on the flip side, activists and Democrats say since abortion is a woman's right, an ultrasound prior to the procedure is an invasion of privacy and medically unnecessary. The bill is before a Senate panel today aims to repeal the law. Efforts like this have come up every year and have always met the same fate. So Republicans hold slim margins in both the House of Delegates and Senate and have shown little signs of changing their stance. So this is just something we're tracking today, and we'll be sure to keep you updated on those bills and as they progress.
I'm quite sure that they're going to have this bill passed real soon. They're going to do it. I have a strong feeling they're going to get it passed and make it law. Trying to show the same success in New York, and then try to make a movement countrywide, if not worldwide. But it's such a shame. It's a shame, man. I mean, it's really. I'm just gasket about the whole thing. You know, the murder of innocent children. You know, the Bible says in Psalm 22:10 says, I was cast upon thee from the womb. Thou art my God from my mother's belly. It also says in Isaiah 49:15 that can a woman forget her suckling child? Can she forget her suckling child, that she should not have the compassion on the son of her womb? Yea, they may forget. Yea, will I not forget thee? This is God's word. And it said, I will not forget thee. So you can go ahead and get an abortion if you so choose. You can pass legislation if you desire. But the Bible says, God will not forget thee. I will not forget thee. All right? You may forget, but yet I will not forget. And that's from the King James Authorization Version translation. Good enough for me. Now here's Virginia Governor Ralph Northam. Remember, he just recently been elected not too long ago. He is our newest governor. As a matter of fact, Democrats have been holding on to the governorship for a long time. They've been holding on to the Senate. There's the House. I mean, they've been rolling, man. And like I said, I used to be a supporter, but no, man. They got radical over the years. They started doing things completely out of context of where I believe, and they no longer represent myself and my family. Yes, I am an African American who feels this way, and I'm quite sure there's plenty of African Americans who should have the courage to come out of the closet and stand for something. Okay, join the Republican Party, become a Republican voter. Or that independent just ain't gonna do it unless you start an independent party separate from both of them. But either way you look at it, either Democrat or Republican, there's no way you can get in between. Either you're gonna get one or the other. So let your voice be heard. When your voice is no longer being heard and your concerns are not being taken seriously, you go to another party then and let your voice be heard. Take over if you have to. That's what I want to do. I want to join the Republican Party. Anybody who got some influence on the Republican Party, who are a party member, card carrying member, could do the process, you let me know. We can talk. But this is Ralph. Hey, Ralph. This is him on Talk Radio. January 30th, which was yesterday. So let's take a look here, guys.
Delegate Kathy Tran made her case for lifting restrictions on third trimester abortions, as well as other restrictions now in place. And she was pressed by a Republican delegate about whether her bill would permit an abortion, even as a woman is essentially dilating, ready to give birth. And she answered that it would permit an abortion at that stage of labor. Do you support her measure and explain her answer?
Yeah, and I wasn't there, Julie, and I certainly can't speak for Delegate Tran, but I would tell you first thing I would say is this is why decisions such as this should be made by providers, physicians, and the mothers and fathers that are involved. There are, when we talk about third trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way. And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired. And then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother. So I think this was really blown out of proportion.
There's not a single person in the world that supports that.
Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed my video. Oh, here's another one. Oh, let's keep this one up. Hold up. Come on. It's on abortion. Come on, Fox News. I want to see this. And guys, I'm feel compelled to run for office too.
Monica Klein is a founding partner at Seneca Strategy. She joins us.
Go.
Monica, thanks a lot for coming on.
Got to push late term abortion.
I'm sure you describe yourself as pro-choice. I bet a lot of people watching right now think of themselves
murderers.
As pro-choice. So I'm not attacking you for that, but I wonder what you think of what Dr. Northam, the governor of Virginia, just said, that when he described the child as an infant, is born, there's a point where the mother and the physician can decide whether to kill the infant or not. What do you think of that?
Look, Tucker, I understand that you want to go back to a time where Roe v. Wade was illegal, where women were having back alley abortions, and they were using
get to the point, woman.
Abortions, which is actually what's barbaric.
I'm giving you time to make a real argument. I'm not arguing for the repeal of Roe v. Wade. I'm a very straightforward person.
That is what you're essentially saying.
Actually, no, that's not what I'm arguing. And please don't be tiresome. The governor of Virginia, who's a rising star in the Democratic Party, just said this. There's pending legislation that mirrors it, and I'm asking you what you think of it. That's it. I'm not here to debate Roe v. Wade.
I think that right now, reproductive health care is under attack by the Republican Party. 72% of Americans support the right to choose, and yet we have Trump and we have sexual predator Kavanaugh trying
what
to
they got to do with anything?
And trying to take away our control over our own bodies. This isn't about babies. This isn't about health care. This is about you attempting to control women's bodies.
That's propaganda.
Please don't be a robot. Monica, you're smarter than that. This is the governor governor of Virginia, just saying this. I just want to know what you think of it. Is that okay? Does that bother you?
Conrad, I just love the way you use propaganda to come out your way as a socialist to say, hey, we're taking over the rights of a woman's body. You know, that's so tiresome nowadays. Try something more creative. But look at it this way. What about the rights of the unborn body? What about the rights of the baby? Once the baby comes out, it's already a full-fledged human being. What about the baby's right? The baby's right. The baby's right. What about it? Talking about back at that. Some things in the past were probably better for us. We just got so progressive, we progress ourselves to hell. Back to you guys.
It's a sincere question. This just happened.
Okay, it bothers me that you are attempting to control women's bodies. That's what you're doing. You are.
She's a feminist and socialist, and she's still trying to point to him out, single him out, change the spin, make a spin, spin it back on him. Oh, you just want to control women's bodies. That's so out of context. You know, she's a professional socialist. She's a Democrat. Y'all got to watch out for her, guys. She's going to probably get you locked up in jail. She's going to you a murderer and a rapist. It's ridiculous. She's a murderer.
The Republican Party right now is working overtime to repeal Roe v. Wade and to
get her out of here.
I wonder if you think you're convincing anybody, or if your unwillingness to address what just happened today on tape that we just played is a sign that you can't defend this. And if you can't defend it, I wonder why that is. Have you paused to ask yourself, as an American, as a person, what do I, as a woman, what do I think of that?
As a woman, what do I think of it? Have you asked yourself why you spend so much time talking about this rather than thinking about why your party is trying to repeal Roe v. Wade and control women's bodies? Right now, there are 7 states where there's only 1 abortion clinic. Okay, there are 4 states with trigger bans where we would, if Roe v. Wade is repealed, women cannot get reproductive health care. This is about a woman's right to choose, and you as a man should not have a single say in that.
Guys, this is not reproductive health care. This is reproductive murder. This is murder health care. Murder health care. This does not have anything to do with reproduction, because we're not reproducing. We're murdering. We're slicing. We're dicing. We're chopping. And we're sticking needles. We're taking our big scissors and cut off. I need a big scissors. Just cut my head off. That's what we're talking about, health care, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about murder. And I wish this just stop popping out. Anyway, it's such blasphemy. It's against God. It's against all nature. Against all creation. Guys, this woman is a fluke. She definitely, in my opinion, is dangerous. You need to get her out of here. She got a medical degree. She might cut you up to pieces.
Wow. Do you think that you're making a case that most people agree with, that it's okay to abort a child in the 3rd trimester
Tucker,
for
you
no...
can keep trying to put words in my mouth and keep trying to say that the Democratic Party is hurting children. But your party is the one that is tearing families apart at the border and allowing children to die in federal custody. So whose party...
She's spinning again. And she's talking about taking families away at the border. Why in the world would you commit a crime and bring your child with you, knowing you go to jail? You mean to tell me you're going to bring your child to jail with you? If we do that, then you're going to say we're bringing babies around predators, killers, and murderers. So, I mean, it's like, damn if you do, darn if you don't. Yeah, come on. Nobody can win. But I'm going to tell you something, this murder thing, one thing's the border. I'm all about the kill. I love the children. But guys, you have dang on way you should be, bringing somebody over here, your babies over here, who has no decision-making process over here against their will, against them breaking the law. I ain't gonna support that. 2, murder is murder, you communist dog. Murder is murder. You have the last word.
Party is actually harming children.
Wow. Let me just ask you one quick question. I mean, this is obviously a pointless conversation, and I think less of you after, I have to say.
I already think less of you, so don't.
It's an honest question. Have you thought about it? Do you have a real answer to what the governor of Virginia said, or are you going to throw yet another talking point at me? I mean, have you actually thought about it? Will you answer that question at all?
I have thought about it, and I am telling you that your party is attempting to change the conversation about Roe v. Wade and take control over women's bodies. I'm sorry that as a man, what you're focused on is controlling women's bodies, but we will not allow you to do that.
This is a child who's been born. This is not a woman's body. This is an independent person.
It just confuses me why you pretend that you have concerns over children when you're completely fine with ICE tearing families apart and children dying in federal custody.
Really,
thank you. I appreciate
it. Guys, she's off the chain. But anyway, hope you enjoyed. I really appreciate you taking time out to watch a few videos with me, have a few talking points, listen to a few of my talking points. Guys, this country's off the chain. I mean, look at this. This is all we have left here. If I leave you with anything, I leave you with this. There we go. Let's clap some hands and pray for God's forgiveness. Pray for God's forgiveness. Get these guys straight. Talk to your families. Pray with your children. Hold your children close. Hug your babies. Get them what they stand in need of. Guys, girls, if you're ever thinking about abortions, if you're thinking about it, stop right there. Don't do it. There's help out here. If you cannot or unwilling to raise a child, there's programs available for you to give the child up for adoption. Please don't kill the baby. Please don't do it. This is Antonio Arnold, Pastor Arnold, father, veteran, who's willing to give his life for his country, give his life for a friend. Signing off.
Conferences, and it's to me, being the speaker, having time after time after time to go back and say to the women in the conference that it's not going to happen. So now I'm so happy I never have to say that again. So congratulations to everyone.
Now the governor will sign the bill.